On today's episode of the NASM CPT Podcast with me, Rick Richey, I explore SAQ. First of all, we talk about speed, focusing mostly on linear speed. Then we talk about agility and its very close cousin, multidirectional speed. And then finally, we'll talk about quickness. And in the context of quickness, we also talk about reaction time and total response time. So make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, share with your fitness friends and family, and leave a 5-star review. Now, here's the episode, Understanding SAQ.
You're listening to the NASM CPT Podcast with Rick Richey, winner of the Share Care Emmy Award for Social Storytelling, and the official podcast of the National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to the NASM CPT Podcast. My name is Rick Richey, and today I want to talk about SAQ. What is SAQ? And it's interesting because the OPT model has components of a workout, and within those components of a workout, they've got warm-up as a component, flexibility, core, balance, plyometrics, resistance training, cool downs, but somewhere after the plyometric and oftentimes before resistance training, you'll see something called SAQ. Well, what is SAQ? Well, I think that's a good thing that we're going to have to try to explore. It stands for speed, ability, jeepers creepers, speed, agility, and quickness. So let's talk about SAQ, and then we're going to define all of these components of it, and then have a little more conversation about it. So let's talk about S. What is speed? Speed is simply the rate of performance of an activity. And according to the PES textbook, speed is a culmination of reactive ability, rapid force development, rapid force application, and effective movement technique. Now, the main thing we're going to talk about when it comes to speed is linear speed. And in sports, that's going to be defined as the ability to move the body in one intended direction as fast as possible. Linear speed is a product of two things, stride rate and stride length. Now, we're going to talk about those. Let me define those in a moment, but also I want to say that there's linear speed, there's starting speed, there's stopping speed, there's high end speed or your maximal speed. So starting speed, how fast does it take you? How fast is your start? And let's go from, track. There was a guy who raced Usain Bolt, and he was an American guy. I'm forgetting his name now. His last name started with a G, and he was always faster out of the gates. He was faster off the start, and it always looked like this American track athlete was going to beat Usain Bolt, but Usain Bolt takes a longer time to get to his max speed, and his max speed was Justin Gatlin. Justin Gatlin, I got it. So Justin Gatlin, his starting speed, beast mode, but Usain Bolt's maximal speed was faster, and in order to hit that 100 meters, Gatlin's acceleration speed, his starting speed, did not, maybe if it was a 50-meter dash, then he would have definitely won, but not the 100. Stopping speed, how fast can you slow down? This is very, very important in athletic endeavors. How fast can you stop? But all of these are still linear speed. They're versions of going straight ahead. And remember, that's a component of stride rate and stride length. So stride rate refers to the amount of time needed to complete a stride cycle and is limited by the stride length. Well, stride length refers to the distance that's covered with each stride. And this can be improved by increasing the amount of force applied to the ground. I'm going to give you a little professional tip here, that when we look at stride length for maximum linear speed, the stride length should be 2.3 to 2.5 times the athlete's leg length. So the stride length can be actually quite long when it comes to a stride. But all of this is in order for us to increase the speed at which we move, kind of our getting built into our top end speed, or at least going in a straight line speed. And that's also where we differentiate between speed and agility and quickness, which we will get into momentarily. Now, the PES text goes into detail about the three distinct phases of the stride cycle. There's the drive phase, the recovery phase, and the support phase, along with a lot of other context when it comes to proper sprint mechanics. What is your arm action? What is your head position? What is your elbow action? Hip, knee, ankle, all of this in detail in the Performance Enhancement Specialist text. So if you're interested more in learning about this, then the PES is for you. Now, this episode of the NASM CPT Podcast is brought to you by NASM One, the membership for trainers and coaches. Members enjoy unlimited access to hundreds of career resources, get the Edge app to schedule and program clients, enjoy half off all certifications and specializations, get access to free CEUs and more. All of this for just $35 a month. Go to nasm.org/membership to learn more about NASM One. All right, let's talk about the next one in the list. We had speed, agility, and then quickness. So let's talk about agility. Agility is the ability to change direction or orientation of the body based on rapid processing of internal and external information quickly and accurately without significant loss of speed. What is it? Agility is change of direction speed. How fast can you change directions and minimize the speed at which you do it? For example, let's say a player is running towards the end zone or running towards a goal with defenders coming at them. So they are changing direction with little loss of speed in the process of changing that direction of movement. So they're still going forward, but they're stepping out of the way. We see so many examples of this in American football now, where I don't know, people are jumping over people. There's a front flip into the end zone. There was somebody this past season that jumped over somebody backwards. That was the most incredible thing I think I've ever seen. And up until that, it was a front flip over a person to land in the end zone. The game is getting crazy, everybody. The game's getting crazy, and I'm here for it. So this is this change of direction speed. But that change of direction speed would be nominal if we didn't have the quickness component, which we'll get into in a moment. All right, let's talk about something they're oftentimes used interchangeably, and rightfully so. So agility sometimes is referred to as multidirectional speed. Multidirectional speed, by definition, is the ability to create speed in any direction or body orientation. So it doesn't matter if you're going forward. It doesn't matter if you're going backwards. It doesn't matter if you're going sideways or diagonal. You are able to create that speed in any direction. And that, my friends, is an impressive feat. And the primary effect of agility or multi-directional speed training is the improvement of overall body control and awareness, because it aids in the heightening of overall athleticism, which improves proficiency at nearly every athletic activity. Now, according to Gambetta, the key components of agility training are, number one, we'll go down a list: body control and awareness, recognition and reaction, starting and your first step, acceleration work, footwork, change of direction, and stopping. All of these involve development of motor skills. And the good thing about development of motor skills is that they can all be trained. And if they can be trained, they can be focused on and addressed. So we can make all of those things better. Better through our training, better through our focus. And if you're working with athletes, focusing on speed, agility, and quickness is vital. So with that vital component mentioned, let's get into the last component here. We're going to talk about quickness. Now, quickness is the ability to execute a movement skill in a comparatively brief amount of time. Quickness training involves developing biomotor skills related to decreasing reaction time. What is quickness? Quickness is the ability to produce movement based on reaction to something. So I am doing something in response to something else. So if you hear, a lot of times, let's go back to track. They'll shoot a blank gun into the air and it makes a big bang. And sometimes they do beeping noises these days as well, but they'll shoot this gun up into the air. Some people, if you've ever heard the phrase jump the gun, it is because they take off from the starting line in anticipation of the sound, but they jump it. They jump forward before the sound goes off. That is called jumping the gun. That's where that phrase came from. Don't jump the gun. But also we have how fast are you reacting to it? Some people do not react as quickly as other people. So the ability to react to that is important. But that's only one thing. That is the quickness component of a linear speed training. But think about other athletes where there are a lot of moving parts. I think about, soccer or tennis, where tennis would be a good example because there are only two people, so you don't have to worry about anybody else on the field. Here we got two people on a court, one ball going at accelerating speeds, and someone immediately reacting to that, getting across the court, also seeing how the tennis racket moves to understand whether or not there is spin and what direction is there, and being able to react to all of that. Get to the ball, get the racket to the ball, respond to every bit of input that came in quickly. I also like to point out that the reaction speed is pretty impressive. If you think about somebody like a professional baseball player, and maybe some like high-end college or baseball, but the fact of the matter is, if you're pitching at about 90 miles an hour, in order for the batter to hit the ball, they have to begin their swing before the pitcher releases the baseball. That's right. In order to hit a fastball, the batter has to start their swing before the pitcher releases the ball. Because if that is, I can't remember how far the pitching rubber is to the home plate, but pitching rubber, the mound is also elevated, so it gets its speed to go at a downward angle. There's so many advantages that a pitcher has, and a baseball, the batter has to respond to it. Most of the response comes from body position and position that the arm moves through space to start to identify how fast the ball is going to get there and where in the strike zone the ball is going to come. So the quickness is really amazing. Their ability to decrease reaction time. Reaction time is the time elapsed between an athlete's their recognition of something and then acting the appropriate action in order to be able to do that. And so your total response time is the summation of the reaction time and the time it takes to execute the reactionary movement. I receive the information, I interpret it, and I respond. All of these, speed, agility, and quickness, are part of the OPT model. In fact, they're a very, very fun part of the OPT model. When you start doing speed, agility, and quickness drills, they are enjoyable a lot of times for the trainers and coaches, but most certainly for the athletes and our clients, even in just a gym setting. So if you want to learn more about speed, agility, and quickness and sports performance, please check out the NASM Performance Enhancement Specialist course. But these are just an overview of some of the speed, agility, and quickness that you do in the OPT model anyway. Or you might see it and you'll see in there in parentheses, it'll say optional. but it is a good option to take on. And if you're not sure what speed, agility, and quickness drills are, and you want to learn more, then Performance Enhancement Specialist is a great way to go. But certainly you can look up more information through NASM and our library. All right, y'all, thanks for listening. And thanks to our producer, Eric Sorensen. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share, leave a 5-star review. And if you want to reach out to me, you can do so. Hit me up on Instagram at dr.rickrichey or email me, rick.richey@nasm.org. Y'all keep inspiring people to fitness. Thanks for listening. This has been the NASM CPT Podcast.